everybody. Hi. Happy almost full moon in Pisces, which also happens to be or will happen to be a blue moon and a super moon. So much going on this time around with the blue moon. And so I'm going to chat a little bit about that. I also want to share just kind of some of my experiences. I will get into a bit more detail about, experiences and such in the podcast episodes. I do Lunar Lessons podcasts, touching on my experiences through the lunar cycle and challenges and things to keep me accountable, also to document my progress, my journey, and to share that with you. And this is another way of doing that with these lives that I do for the full moon and the new moon and talking about the zodiac and all the things. So I have also, I think we'll do something a little bit different in the sense I will talk about Pisces and the zodiac, the things that you can do or the energies around that full moon information. But also, I have not pulled cards for the group in quite a while, like at least a couple years. I think it's been a while. So I thought it would be fun if anyone wants to have a card pulled. I will pull that for you. Ooh. Excuse me. And I will also just start with a general card when we get to that point. But if you're new to working with the lunar cycle, we set intentions at the new moon, which was about 2 weeks ago. And then at the full moon, which is roundabout 2 weeks later, this is the time to pay attention and look back at what we have learned, what lessons, what resistance, what hardships, what challenges have come up in the pursuit or in the process of manifesting our intention, of taking action, because this is where we learn what we need to move past, what stories need to be rewritten or addressed, or whatever the case is. And then at the full moon, when it's the biggest and brightest it is in the sky, the moon, this is a great time to do both releasing of all those things, of all those challenges, and also with that space, that energetic space that's created, call in and invite goodness, create space for the steps and for the results of your work to reap, if you will, reap your benefits, and filling that space with gratitude, appreciation, forgiveness clears it out. So appreciation, gratitude, and I thought there was something else I was going to fill in there, but who knows? Who knows? That's okay. That's okay. My mind is a little bit scattered. So I will, as always, give myself that little bit of grace and be like, well, it'll come to me. So if you have specific questions, you're new to all the things, moon phases included. Miranda, thank you for sharing that. So very basically, I like to, especially when someone is new, because this really, I didn't start this basic. I tried to kind of learn all the phases. There are 8 phases. 9 if you work with the dark moon, and that's I will talk about that coming up in the next quarter, like kind of the fall time. I'll talk about the dark moon. But I really like, and what has worked for me in helping people and kind of figuring out this process, I like to work with the quarter moons. And so those, if you think of the lunar cycle or the moon, the new moon is when it's dark in the sky. You can't see the moon. It's not lit up at all. So that's the new moon. That's the intention setting time. Then the first quarter moon is when it looks like it's half lit, like half of it is dark and half of it is bright. The first quarter moon, that's the action taking time. Like when you start taking action. So from the new moon to the first quarter moon, you are feeling into your intentions, identifying what intentions you want to work with. I like to talk and work with feelings-based intentions. So how do you want to feel from day to day? How do you want to feel this lunar cycle? And so the reason for that is because by focusing on the feeling as opposed to the end result, the goal, if you will, which they're important to have, but focusing on the feeling, for example, my intention, let's say, is to feel happy. That's a very common one that people can relate to. By finding things to spark happiness, I'm doing a happiness happens challenge or activity in my stories this month. So you can go back and check those on Instagram. Unfortunately, Facebook doesn't save, there's no place to save the stories like on highlights for Instagram. But by finding the activities and making happiness the intention and finding activities, taking action and finding the things that don't make you happy and what you can do about that, that invites infinite possibilities for your desires to manifest. It invites and creates unlimited opportunities for things that you weren't even aware of to come your way, in addition to and along with your desires that you do have, right? So I started working with the focus of like the goal, the end result, like the house or the job or the money or whatever, which are all great. We know we want those things, but focusing on how they would make you feel and doing what you can on purpose, intentionally to feel that way, will actually help attract those things much quicker and much more easily, along with many other things that you weren't necessarily aware of. So a little bit of a side tangent, but back to the quarters. Miranda, the new moon to the first quarter moon is when you're setting your intentions. You're feeling into it. You're getting clear on it, identifying it. Then at the first quarter moon, when the moon looks to be half lit, or half illuminated, that's when you start taking action, like on purpose. What are action steps that I can do? What changes can I make in my day-to-day life? What new habits might I want to start implementing that contribute to this intention that I've set? So you start taking action. And this is also where you will start feeling challenged a bit once you start taking action and you get clear on that intention. So from the first quarter moon down to the full moon, which is what we're approaching on Wednesday, this is when you are continuing to take action, where you start and continue. And this is where you'll start feeling, okay, well, what the hell is going on? Because I set this intention to feel happy, but all these things are coming up that are not making me happy. And that means it's working perfectly, because when you set an intention, everything unlike itself comes up. So if you set an intention for happiness, all the things that are not in alignment with you being happy are going to pop up. And then the work becomes, do I need to change something? Do I need to get rid of something? Do I need to change my thinking about something? What is it that I can learn from this so that I can get to that space of happiness? And so at the full moon, this is where, like I started saying, this is where you can do the forgiveness work, do the release work for all these challenges and crud, if you will, that that feels like it's actually working against you. Start doing the forgiveness work, continue doing the forgiveness work, and creating that energetic space to receive with gratitude and appreciation. And then you are both letting go and calling in, aka manifesting, at the full moon, which is when it's got the most energy. The moon is its fullest and brightest. And so from the new moon to the full moon is called the waxing half of the lunar cycle, because the moon is getting bigger. It is waxing in the sky. Now, from the full moon back down to the next new moon is the waning half of the lunar cycle. And from the full moon to the third quarter moon, which is also when it looks like it's half full, but it's opposite. It's flipped from the first quarter moon. This is where you're continuing to do the letting go and the forgiveness work and taking those steps. So if you started implementing a habit, you're continuing with that work, continuing to say, I forgive myself, I forgive these experiences, continuing to make this a new way of being for yourself. And then from the third quarter moon back down to the new moon, this is what I call the dreamy phase. This is where you're imagining, based on what you've learned, based on where and how you're feeling with your new actions, with the habits that you're implementing, with the results that you're seeing or experiencing in your brain, like new ways of thinking, having a more positive outlook, feeling calmer, feeling happier. Now you can start to imagine and dream of a new way of being. Now, this can then lead to the next new moon where you recommit to the same intention and amplify the work that you've been doing. You can add in a new intention kind of to move up to the next level or move further along in your pursuit of, the way you want to feel, and also working towards goals. We do have goals. It's not that we don't have them, but that's not so much the focus of our new moon intentions. We know what they are. We either set goals or we know the things that we're working towards, write them down. At the new moon calls, I talk about setting goals with the sun, because based on the season that the sun is in. For example, everyone who's a Virgo is now having birthdays from I think a few days ago, 5 days ago or so, through about the 21st or 22nd-ish of September. Everyone who's a Virgo is having birthdays or will be, and that's because the sun is in Virgo. So it's a Virgo season, and you can set goals with the sun. So at the new moon calls, I do talk a bit more about goals and working with intentions that support those goals. And if you missed the last new moon call, they are here for replay. You can check them out for replay and get an idea of what that looks like. And then we just talk about the zodiac that the sun and the moon will be in for the next one, the next cycle, at the next live, the next new moon live. So that is a very basic framework. If I did kind of go too fast or kind of fly by, just let me know anything else you might want some clarification on. And I'm going to talk a little bit about specifically what the blue moon is, because that's what we have coming up on Wednesday. And so a blue moon in this sense is a second full moon in a single calendar month. We started August on August 1st with a full moon. And so we have another full moon in August on the 30th. So the second full moon in a calendar month is referred to as a blue moon. And they don't happen every year. This is the only one of this type, the calendrical blue moon. The next one with two full moons in a single month is going to be in 2026. So with the blue moons, it's really great to set intentions, long-term intentions that support goals that you want to maybe achieve by 2026. So this is a great way to think further out and along the way set intentions that support the baby step goals or the steps that are getting you there, or amplifying what you have now and, creating or calling in more of that. So blue moons are, I think, magical. If you, see the side. I think it's up on this side of the suit. It says blue. Where am I here? Backwards. Blue Moon Manifestations is the name of my business because I named my business after a blue moon because it was inspired by a blue moon. And if you want to hear that story, I am going to talk about that on the podcast this week. I'm going to try and actually do it tomorrow on Tuesday, a day before the blue moon. But if not, it will be live, recorded live from Facebook. And then it will become a podcast episode on all podcast platforms later that evening. You're welcome, Sophia. I'm glad that helped. So I hope, and this is the beauty of these lives and the beauty of working with the lunar cycle. We do things in cycles. We repeat them. So things become more familiar. We can start expanding and growing and learning new things as the things we've learned become normal and become a habit and become something that is known to us. And then we move on and maybe try something new, expand our knowledge, and continuously repeating this cycle. That's the beauty of it. We keep doing the work over and over because the moon provides the framework for that. Hold on one second. I have a message pop up that I actually just need to I don't normally do that, but I'm covering for someone today. So I had that pop up. So real life, doing a live. Okay. So I want to talk about some things that you can do at the blue moon. Very blue moon inspired, blue themed, if you will. If you're on my email list, this information will be going out on email later today. So you will get that as well. And if you're not, just put email in the comments and I will get you a link, that you can get on my email list. And with that link, you'll also get my Manifesting Songs playlist. That's just a thank you or a thing to check out for getting on my email list. It's a thing that I have going out for everybody. So some things that you can do. Thank you, Miranda. I will get that to you. Thank you so much for doing that. I am going to walk you through a few things that you can do at the blue moon. And so you can do these at any time, but they have the blue twist to them, right? So making moon water. If you've never made moon water, you're not actually making anything, but it's putting water, drinkable water, if you plan to drink it in any way, in a glass container. I like mason jars because they're good size, multiple sizes. They have the caps and such, and they're sturdy. So, okay, no problem, Angie. I like making moon water by putting them in mason jars. I actually also put water in my coffee pot and set that out. And then in the morning, I will make my coffee with the moon water. And all this is doing, moon water is you put water outside if you can, or on a windowsill. And if you can't, it still works because walls don't really stop the energy, so to speak. So put the water out, let it infuse, the moon infuse the water with the energy of the zodiac. Pisces is a water sign, so it's very creative. It's also very emotional. And so caring and like that creativity, self-love, spirituality, all these higher level emotions, so to speak. So if you want to infuse your water with this energy, just simply set it out overnight. If you don't feel comfortable leaving it all night, then bring it in before you go to bed. But of course, I think the peak, depending on when you sleep, I guess, is when the moon is at the highest point, I think. And so then what you do with the water is up to you. You can drink it as is, as long as the water is safe to drink. You can make your coffee or tea with it, like I suggested, or just simply 1 cup. You don't have to do a whole pot like I do. You can water plants with it. You can put it in your bath water if you want. Put it in, if you wash your face, put it on the washcloth or whatever. And it's just a way of connecting and infusing that energy into and on you and around you and connecting with that energy, if you will. Now, the fun part that I have as a twist for today is use that blue moon water if you make it. Yes, it's great, Sophia. I love it too. So you just put the coffee pot out, and the next morning, make your coffee with it, and you carry that Pisces energy with you with your coffee throughout the day. The fun part, the creative part, if you have access to watercolors, and if not, you can get them pretty cheap at like the Five Belows, the dollar stores, all the places, craft stores. They don't have to be fancy, but use your moon water to paint with watercolors. Or if you have watercolor pencils, color pencils, if you're not familiar with that, they're color pencils, and you color or draw like normal, and then you dip your brush in water and paint over it, and it softens the pencil. It turns it into like watercolor paint as you brush over the parts that you colored. So why not try some fun or have some creative fun and use watercolors to maybe paint a picture of the moon itself as you are thinking about your intentions, inviting clarity for your intentions. You can paint pictures or use colors that represent or that help you tap into how it is that you want to feel. Like yellow might be happy, or orange might be energetic, things along those lines. Red might be spicy. Try not to go for angry. We're not going for angry on purpose, but red might be spicy and fiery and saucy, maybe, right? So you can do that, or you can paint, doodle, etc., images of your intentions, like something that makes you happy or something that helps you connect to that feeling that you are setting an intention for. Let's see, maybe energy from moon water will help the plants. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. They have a habit of not living under my care. Well, yeah, why not try the moon water? Just see if it perks them up a bit. And also, just depending on the plant, my aunt is constantly moving plants around depending on the time of year. Like in the winter, these plants she has outside do really well in one area, but then when it starts to get hot, she has to move them to a different area where they actually get more shade than they do in the winter. So those types of things, but give it a try. You just never know. The moon is magical in my opinion. So have some fun being creative, and don't worry if you're not doing this on Wednesday, because the moon stays in a sign or in a phase, for several days. So the moon will be in the full phase for about 3 days. I actually have my planner where it says it here. It's going to be in the full phase from Wednesday all the way through Saturday. So you have this whole time frame to do this work and tap into that full moon energy, which is another beautiful thing, right, about the moon. It's not like a one and done. We have a span of time to do these things and to allow ourselves to feel into the things or get clear or do some journaling and make it a multiple day process if that works for you, if that feels good. So the next thing to try is I wrote, if you're on my email list, and you'll see this word a lot, I shouldn't say a lot, sprinkled in. I put the word blue in place of like beautiful instead of beautiful. So I do that from time to time, and it's on the email. Beautiful journaling. So grab a journal if you have one. The journal itself does not need to be blue. Don't go crazy like, oh, it's not going to work or it's not as much fun because it's not blue. You can use blue ink. You can paint with blue paints. You can color with blue crayons or write with blue crayons if you want to, and jot down, your intentions, how you're feeling, what emotions you're experiencing at the moon. If you've never worked with the moon before, say, hey, Pisces what am I feeling at this Pisces moon? And some things might not come to you right away, or it might seem kind of weird, like feeling tired. Okay, is that good? Yeah, that's information. Because if you continue to do this, you may notice a pattern where some people feel really energized at the new moons, and other people feel really energized at the full moons, and they feel tired opposites, or they feel energized at the first or third quarter moon. So the more you do this, just simply, if you're going to start fresh or just give this a try, simply ask yourself at the blue moon, how am I feeling today? And see what comes up for you. And write down the phase of the moon, so it would be full, and the sign that the moon is in, Pisces. And you can start with doing that simply at the full and new moons or at the quarters and build on that. But you will start to see patterns, and then you'll be able to say, like, oh, these are my energetic times. These might be my down times, or maybe I can schedule less strenuous activities or less meetings, or just give myself some downtime. So that is a great way to start journaling with the moon. Simply ask yourself, how am I feeling today? And you can do that every day. You can do that at the quarter moons. You can do that weekly, like on Mondays, and see how it goes throughout the week. Whenever you want, play around with it and see what works for you. You could do a blue candle blessing, which is light a blue candle. And if you don't have a blue candle, that's okay. Envision the blue aura, if you will, because the moon is not actually blue. It doesn't turn blue for the blue moon. But imagine the blue aura energy kind of raining down, that is around anyway. So, light a blue candle if you have one, and take a moment to reflect on things you're grateful for, because this is a perfect full moon activity. Reflect on things you're grateful for. And if just to kind of make it more interesting, or more of a not interactive, but an activity, with every time that the candle flickers, send positive vibes to your intentions. Like maybe you can like blow on it and just like imagine that sending out positive vibes or infusing your intentions. See if you see like sometimes they say the flame dances. See if you see it dancing, and you can sway with it and really allow that to be the way that you feel into your intentions, or that you start to experience the feelings that you are setting intentions for. And then just let them ripple. Like think about the rippling. Like if you drop a rock and you see ripples in the water, just let them ripple out into space, out into the universe. And of course, there's always simply star and moon gazing, right? Just go out, look at the moon, sit outside. If you want to carry the blue theme, I mean, blue is a favorite color of mine, so I definitely have things in blue all over. Have a blue blanket with you, have a blanket or something, or a shirt or something with the moon, or doodle the moon, doodle images of the moon. If you want, just sit outside, absorb the moon light, the moon energy, and stare up at the sky, stare up at the stars, and see if you have some great thoughts, if you see anything like a shooting star, or who knows what else. So those are just some fun ways to tap into this blue energy, if you will, and have some fun, because having fun is a key component of manifesting and feeling good and doing the things to get you to feel good. And good can be a variety of things. Good can mean just simply a step up. If you're feeling kind of down or tired or frustrated, it's not realistic to always set the expectation or to think, oh, I can just like power through and jump all the way to, yay, life is great. That's not always possible. But if you can get yourself to feel a little bit better, right? Just a step up. I'm going to be, I have in the pipeline a podcast to talk about the emotional scale, like how you move up the scale. And so it doesn't always have to be all the way to the top of the ladder or the scale. Simply moving up rung or step or emotion by emotion is actually moving you in the right direction. So why are we so hard on ourselves? We're doing the best we can, right? Let me see. There have been some comments that come in. And if you guys are wondering, if you're not seeing the comments that I'm seeing, or all the ones that I'm seeing, I'm live on Facebook in the group and on YouTube. So both at the same time. So I see both of them here. So if you are wondering, like, I don't see that sign or that message, that would be why. Let's see. That sounds, Sophia, that sounds like fun. Yes. Painting and creativity is always fun. Crystal energy. Yes. And place crystal on top of my moon water. Absolutely. Jars, or sometimes I put crystals in the water. Yes. As long as you're familiar or look up, you, Sophia, are probably familiar with that. But if someone is wanting to put crystals in the water, simply make sure they are water safe, that they're not going to like dissolve or break off. And you could do a very quick search, Google search, for things. The ones that are safe for sure are like rose quartz. Oh my gosh, amethyst. I was going to say the purple one. Amethyst and clear quartz. Those are three fabulous ones, and those are good. The smooth tumbles are especially good for those. Hi, Melody. Good to see you. Miranda, will a Pisces working with a Pisces moon enhance the energy of the Pisces moon for workings? It is, I don't know if, let's see, enhancing it, that could be a good word. Because the Pisces, if you're talking about your sign, that is your sun sign, right? So that's where the sun was in when you're born. But Pisces, regardless of if the moon is in that sign or the sun is in the sign, they still have the same energies, right? It's just a different focus. It's more of like action taking or goal setting or masculine energy with the sun. Not fully 100% masculine, because there's an ebb and flow to both of them, but it's more, I like to think of it as yin and yang. So the Pisces moon is more of a yin, softer, maybe that's a better word, softer energy, whereas Pisces sun is a yang energy, which is more bolder maybe, but they still have the same traits, right? Pisces doesn't change traits because whether the moon's in it or the sun is in the sign. So it could be more of like a tag team, if you will, right? With your Pisces sun and the Pisces full moon. You could think of those working together, the yin and the yang working together. So see how it goes. Let us know, because that's actually a very good question. And Sophia, blue food coloring in the water. Maybe if you are going to paint with it or add to a bath, blue colored water. Yes. I mean, food coloring is ingestible, right? Because it's hence in the name blue. But if you don't want to, that could be fun. That could be a great way to make some blue paint, right? With the food coloring. See, now that you say stuff, then my mind goes like, ooh, all sorts of fun things. If you guys have access to, or you can try this with any color also, like white carnations, it may work. You know what? It might work with roses too, but like a white flower, white daisy, you can make that food coloring, blend the food coloring with the water and make a fresh cut on the stems and stick the flowers in the food coloring, and it will pull up through the flower into the petals. I share this because I used to work in an elementary school as an aide, and one of the 4th grade science teachers did that with her class as an experiment. If you're in an area of the country that has, some people call it a flower, some people call it a weed, but if you're in an area of the country that you have access to, or you can find Queen Anne's lace, it's a large, sort of largish, round, but flat flower. You can actually dip that, since it's flat, dip the flower into the food coloring and color the petals that way. Then if you do something along those lines, then maybe you could dry the flower and have the food colored or the blue colored petals, as potpourri. They might not smell like anything, but, or if you have an altar, have it on your altar space, or for a grid. I was going to say crystal grid, but it doesn't have to be crystals. A grid of some kind to maybe press into your book, your journal, your moon journal, if you start to do that. I'll see all sorts of things that, we could try. I would love it if you guys share, if you try any of these things, even if it's after the blue moon or anything like that. Share this fun stuff in the group or in the comments of the videos. If you're on YouTube, share the stuff that you try, because this is a great, this type of conversation is great to inspire ideas and give other people ideas. Love the ideas with the flowers. Yes, blue glitter. Oh my gosh, Sophia, we would have like a crafting frenzy if we were to do stuff like that. That is so much fun. So I love the ideas. If you're not in the Facebook group, it is a free Facebook group, but if you're on YouTube and Facebook's not your thing, don't feel, pressured. That's why I do these lives on YouTube as well. But if you are interested in the Facebook group, it's the Moon Manifesting Rockstars Facebook group. I can't put the comment on here through StreamYard. It won't show up, but I will put it in the comments after I get through with the live. So that's what I have. I just wanted to make this one kind of fun. I will be honest with you guys. I had a bit of a rough weekend. And so if you saw my stories yesterday, I've been doing a Happiness Happens activity, because August is Happiness Happens month. And so I've been doing like a happiness moment or a Happiness Happens moment of the day, every day of the month on my stories. And so it just was challenging in the sense of business things. Like I got a complaint on my email, on my emails that came out. So they filed a complaint, and the technology for the workshop that I did yesterday, the Blue Moon Vision Board workshop, on the replay, and I didn't realize it. I just uploaded the replay to the class site. You can hear and see me talking, but I had slides that I used as a presentation. And on my end, what I was seeing on my screen, the slides were moving, but either I didn't press a button or I missed something. What was being seen on the recording, because people were coming in and out. So actually, and maybe not, because if I have to go back, I don't know if I can check when people actually jumped in. It might have been either before or after the slides, and maybe they missed it. I don't know. Or it didn't show up for them. I have no idea. But on the recording, the slides are frozen at the very beginning with some kind of message on the screen. So that was just kind of oh. And I'm going to say, it is Mercury retrograde as well. So communication things, yes, communication things they're just challenging right now, and that's okay. So I had a bit of a challenging weekend with kind of just things that frustrated me. And so what I did yesterday for my Happiness Happens moment, of course it works out. I did allow myself, I'm really good at this part. I did myself, when I got to that frustration level where I just reached my limit, I let myself have a good cry, went outside, the moon was there, that helped, and stood barefoot on the grass, some grounding, crying, good cry under the moon. And then as I was just kind of, okay, letting it go, feeling that, one rung up the level better, then I saw there's a hedge at the fence that I was standing next to, and I caught some of the foliage that was starting to turn orange and brownish. And so I'm like, oh, the fall foliage is starting, the first sign of fall foliage. And that was my happiness moment that I shared at 11:30 last night on my stories, because That's what it was. And I had something else to share, but that was more in the moment with what was going on. So I shared that, and you know what? It was perfect. And so I didn't see the complaint thing until this morning. So then I was like, oh, great. Now I'm past it, or I dealt with it. And I still have other stuff that I am, that's coming my way. And it's okay. So I'm like, and I'm still pretty upbeat, I think, but normally I think it's like toned down a little bit. And that is simply life. And I'll keep going on with my emails and with my business and all the things, just like I always do. But I really do think it's important to share that exactly, Eva, we can't control. And that's the work, right? It's like, can I control that someone did that? No. Can I control after the fact that I didn't see the technology glitch? No. Now, the slides are in there. So for those that purchase the workshop, the slides are in there and they can hear the workshop. So I will likely, being the person that I am, go back through and re-record the workshop and replace it. But for those that have access to it, they can hear me. They can see the slides because I put them in there separately and follow along. So it's not the end of the world. But yes, you're right. I couldn't control these things. So let's see. I saw that post. I looked at it as, despite the leaves that are turning, there are still green ones that are still all alive and growing. See, Sophia, exactly. The same picture and two different perspectives. And isn't that a perfect example of life as well? The same exact incident, the same exact circumstance, and different people see it differently, and neither one is wrong because they both have valid points and valid perspectives, right? I had communication issues this weekend as well. I took a long drive into nature, went camping under the stars, and visited with the moon. There is nothing better than that, Sophia. Absolutely. Camping is one of my favorite things. So that's what I have. But like I said at the beginning of the live, I haven't done it in a while. I think I'll pull a card and then we'll see from there. I try to keep these under an hour. We've got about 18 minutes. So I will pull a card. And then if someone wants a card themselves, just let me know in the comments. Say card or me or whatever, let me know. But I'll tell you the cards I'm pulling from. If you're familiar with Moonology at all, Yasmin Boland, she has a Moonology book. She has a Moonology Oracle deck. She has a Moonology manifestation cards deck. And this one is not out yet publicly. There's a third deck. But I got it because I have a subscription, like a card, not card of the month. It's, what's it called? It's with Hay House, and they send you 3 card decks plus a gift every quarter. So once every 3 months. These are pre-released. So they are the Moonology Messages Oracle. And so because they're brand new and I just got them, I'm going to pull a card in general for the Pisces full blue moon. And this is just a general one for everyone, or just kind of a general card pull for the month. And if anyone else wants one, let me know. I used to do these all the time, and then scheduling changed and all that stuff, but I miss it. I miss doing the card pulls. So I'm going to do it here in the group because I feel like it. And I think yesterday is Just Because Day. So I'm just going to tap into that energy. Just Because Day was yesterday. So I'm going to call it a redo since yesterday was a challenging day. This is also why I love these cards. They're always perfect. So I pulled the card It says Moonlit is the card, and it says embrace uncertainty. Well, that's what I'm doing. Embrace uncertainty. And I'll read what it says for you guys. Because oracle decks have their own meaning. They're not like tarot. So Moonlit. Where is that? I'm not familiar with this book at all yet, with this guidebook. So embrace uncertainty. Moonlight. Oh, there it is. Okay, 72. Moonlit, embrace uncertainty. Let's see what message the cards had for us. A moonlit night might be beautiful, but it makes it hard to really see what's going on if you need to. Under very gentle moonlight, we simply can't see exactly what's going on around us. If we go out into the night and the moon is in the early stages of the waxing cycle or the late stages of the waning cycle, there isn't much illumination. Much illumination offered. If this card comes up for you, it suggests that you don't yet know the full story around whatever question you're asking. So that could be intentions if we're pulling it as a general card. It could simply be that someone else is involved in your situation, still isn't clear on what they do or don't want, so they can't tell you. I'm going to call that Mercury retrograde being involved in my situation. Deception may be at play, which can bring up a lot of anxiety and even fear. All is not lost, though. Remember, the moon goes in phases. And even if there isn't much light around your situation right now, in the fullness of time, everything will be clarified and illuminated, and you'll learn what you need to know. That will ultimately be healing for you and everyone else. So some additional meanings for the card. The path forward isn't clear yet. I'm definitely feeling that. Explore your dreams and intuition. Trust your feelings, definitely, especially with Pisces. That's a water sign. Uncertainty is part of your current process. Wait before making your move. And so this symbol, the symbol that's there in the card, says, remember, beautiful moonlight is the reflection of the yang sun on the yin moon. It's a combination of the masculine and feminine energies. So how perfect is that? It never ceases to amaze me. It's always a perfect card, always a perfect message. And that's the fun and the beauty and the perfectness of divination, right? Getting out of our heads and seeing or hearing the message. So hopefully that resonated with you guys as well. And Miranda, I did check right here. I'm going to try posting the link to the group. And I think because YouTube is public, the Facebook group is private. You have to join it, but it's free for those of you who are wondering. I'm going to try putting the Facebook link here. Facebook group link. Let's see if it shows up for you. There. So if it does, you can head on over there. This exact same live will be there. They're in the group. I will say, though, there are guides to our old previous videos. There's tutorials about how to find your birth chart and things like that. They will be awesome, Miranda. They will be part of videos that those things relate to on YouTube. So if I do a video about your birth chart, there will be a link on that video. So, but Facebook has it where you can just access them at any time. That's just the nature of each platform. And if you are interested in the wonky as it is Blue Moon Vision Board Workshop, it is actually available. You can purchase the workshop and have lifetime access to the materials, just like people who purchased it before the workshop. If you're familiar with Teachable, that's where it is. the things that go along with the workshop are a replay of a blue moon intention setting workshop I did in the past. It has some printables on how to make vision boards magical, some questions to journal on or reflect on before or while making your vision board. I did record yesterday a blue moon visualization that is in there, and a blue moon affirmation printable that I did add after the workshop yesterday. And it's got a tutorial on how to make a vision board on Canva if you're interested in making a digital vision board, which once I actually allowed myself to try them and have fun, they're great. I have so many different versions of vision boards now because I make them virtually or digitally, and I don't have to have all of the wall space for all of them. And keep an eye out both on the podcast. If you listen to that, it's the Rockstar Manifestors podcast. In the group and anywhere on my social media pages, I will be putting a poll out this week for you guys to vote on what the free class is for the month of September. And also, for those of you on YouTube, the free class is available to those who are outside of Facebook via Zoom. So it's not on YouTube like this is, but I do make it available on Zoom because the free classes come down each month. And then a new class, I'll have a new free class the next month. And if you are interested in getting access to those classes, they are held in the library of my Manifesting Me mentorship. And that is a 3 months at a time recurring membership mentorship where we work on intentions and goals on a 3-month basis, working with the seasons, with the lunar cycle. And since I'm going to be getting links for everyone, you can just put me because it's the Manifesting Me if you want information about the mentorship. And for those of you that put the list information, I will be putting the link in here for the email list, and that everyone that you guys requested. I will respond to your comments with that link. And I think that's it. See, I will tell you guys, I love doing these lives. It doesn't matter what, like the moon lives, doing the classes, like the workshop I did yesterday. I love doing these. And so along with pulling a card, just because I wanted to, this helped boost my mood. And so I feel, because I was looking forward to this because I love them so much. And then you guys jumped in and contributed to that, which is one of the reasons I love these so much. And got to share my experiences with you guys, answered some questions, which is one of the key favorite things, one of the definite favorite things of my business and what I do with and for you guys. So thank you guys for showing up. If you were able to live, if you're watching this on the replay, please participate along, ask questions, jump in, because I do come back around. And the way things go, when I come back and respond to your comments, if you're watching this in the future on the replay, I will tap back into that feel good. It's like, oh, that made me feel good. Now I'm going to go back there again. So never feel that the replay is less than or anything like that. I definitely take time to come back around because you guys take time to watch the replays and comment and ask. So thank you guys for being part of the mood boosting process for me, and have a happy Pisces full blue super moon. And if you're not sure what a super moon is, it simply means it looks bigger than normal because the moon is closer to the earth than normal. Don't know distances at all. Thank you, Christiane. I'm so glad to see you. Thank you so much. And you're welcome, Eva. Thank you for being here. And I think that's it. I'm going to go. And I will see you guys later on. Take care, guys.